Now let's see how to avoid getting swine flu. We saw that one can get flu either by a direct exposure or by an indirect exposure. Direct exposure is when a patient with flu coughs or sneezes or speaks loud and the virus is spread in the air and a healthy person breathes it in and starts developing flu. So to avoid this type of exposure, what you do that when there is a flu epidemic or if many people are getting flu or swine flu, you avoid attending gathering of people. Like don't go to cinemas, don't go to parties, don't go for rallies, political rallies, games like football, cricket, where don't go to any place where there are many people together, because some of them may be suffering from swine flu and they will cough or sneeze, and then you may become a victim and get the flu. Second thing is, stay away from anyone who is coughing or who has fever. So suppose you are on the plane, you have to travel for something and you find somebody who is coughing. First, he shouldn't have been on the plane, but if you find somebody like that, try to keep some distance. Third thing is that when you hear somebody cough nearby within like 10-15 feet area very close by, immediately do these three things. One is bend your head downwards, that way the virus will not come and enter your eyes or nose or mouth. Second thing is put your hand in front of your nose and mouth to protect them from mucus droplets which may be there in the air. Third thing is immediately stop breathing. This comes as a reflex and this was taught to me by my teacher many years ago. He taught it how to not get TB or tuberculosis, and it is equally good in any respiratory infectious disease that you stop breathing immediately, then turn your face away from the direction of cough and breathe normally. Again, the purpose is that you don't inhale the air directly, which may have those mucus particles, because in 4-6 seconds maybe most of it would have settled. If you are at high risk of developing flu, you have asthma or you are pregnant or there is a lot of flu going on in the area or swine flu, there are many cases and you have to go out, then you wear not only mask, because mask will protect your mouth and nose, but also glasses or goggles to protect your eyes also. Now, indirect exposure causing flu, we had seen that if you touch any surface where the flu virus was there because somebody had coughed or sneezed earlier, and then your hands get the flu virus, and if you touch those hands to your face, mucosa on your face, then you will get flu. And to avoid indirect exposure, you have to do the following things. Number one, avoid touching any surfaces like others' telephones, doorknobs, other people's pen, pencil, utensils, toys. Don't touch them. Second thing is avoid touching your face with your own hands. It's a habit, you have to develop it, but if you are aware of that, you will do it. Third thing which is very important is that suppose even the virus came on your hand and you are not aware of it, but if you wash your hands with soap and water very frequently, like 4-6 times in a day, you will decrease the chances of that virus going into your mucosa in eyes, nose or mouth, causing the flu. Important thing here to remember is that when you are washing with soap and water, you should wash for 30 seconds, not like 5 seconds like most of us try to do when we have to wash our hands, but it should be for 30 seconds for your hands to become totally clean, and we will talk about this 30-second rule in a moment. If there is no water or soap available and you have to clean your hands, then you can use alcohol gel, and nowadays many preparations of alcohol gel are commercially available, which you can keep in your pocket, or they are available in schools, supermarkets. You can even keep in your home, but only if you cannot use soap and water and you have to quickly clean your hands, then the second choice will be alcohol gel. Even if that is not available, you can use the spirit, like the nurse uses spirit swab to clean the area where she is going to give the injection, or before he or she is going to take the blood. So that type of spirit also you can use. See, the alcohol gel has 100% alcohol. Other types of spirits may have lesser alcohol, 60%, 70%, 40%. So you can understand that alcohol gel will stick to your hand and will be more effective. But if it is not available, those are the things you can use. Next thing is that clean hard surfaces like tabletop, toys, with weak solution of bleach. For example, like in some countries it is sold by the name Clorox. In your country it may be available under a different name. So make a bleach solution to clean the floors, tabletops, doorknobs, handles of say fridge, microwave, all those things you can clean with bleach swabs. So use bleach to kill those viruses on those surfaces. Again, as I mentioned, frequent hand washing with soap and water, each lasting 30 seconds, will increase your chances of not having flu. How to count 30 seconds? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. If you speak like that, then it will only be 10 seconds and you will be at 30. So to measure 30 seconds, either you use a watch or you recite 1001, 1002, 1003. Each time you speak 1001, it takes 1 second. So 1001 will be 1 second, 1002 will be 1 second, 1003 will be 1 second. So that is how long a second is. Another thing is, you can, if you want to learn something, and this is a good opportunity, suppose you want to learn your national anthem. Most national anthems, when you are speaking, they are usually 30 to 40 seconds. So you can practice them in your head, and that will be 30 seconds. Another good way is a paragraph of a song, if you sing it, is usually 30 seconds. So you can do that any song you want to learn or poetry you want to learn, you can practice that, but make sure that it is about at least 30 seconds long. If you are a medical professional, it's your responsibility not only to others that you don't transmit flu from one patient to another patient, but also you have to protect yourself, because you can get flu too, and then you can bring it to your home and give it to your family. So medical professionals, because they are exposed to so many patients, they have to be extra careful. As a medical professional, you wear gloves before touching any patient, and after completing examining the patient, change the gloves before seeing another patient. That way the virus will not be transmitted from one person to another. See, all flu patients may not have symptoms. When a patient is exposed, before the symptom develops, it takes 2 days. So the patient may be in that period, and his, like, some part of his body or clothes on his body or something may have flu virus in some form, like with mucus or something, and you can end up easily transmitting that from your hand to another patient. If you cannot change gloves, then wash your hands with soap and water between seeing two patients. Avoid wearing neckties because they are very common source of transmitting any type of infection. You can even get vaccinated against flu even though the vaccine is not 100% effective, and we will talk about it later. But if you get vaccinated, it will provide you little immunity against developing flu. If you are a medical professional and you are caring for a sick flu patient who is very sick with flu, and you have to take care of them like a nurse or something, then you must wear gloves, goggles and gown. You don't want to be carrying the flu virus to your home. You can also wear full face mask, then you don't have to wear goggles because the face mask will cover your face and goggles and eyes. Again, you can get vaccinated for against flu to protect yourself, but again the protection is not 100%. This discussion on flu vaccination is important for doctors and also for patients, because sometimes patients take flu vaccination and they think they won't get flu. That is not correct. First of all, flu vaccine is not available in many countries. Even in countries where it is available, sometimes it is not available to everybody. It may be expensive. It is available as an injection or as a nasal spray. The problem with flu vaccine is it can give a false sense of assurance that you feel that I won't develop flu because I have taken flu vaccine, but the flu vaccine does not provide 100% protection. The best vaccine, flu vaccine, provides 60% protection only. This year, 2014, flu vaccine was only 20% effective against flu. So you can imagine that just taking flu vaccine is not the answer, perfect answer that you will not have flu. So what is the answer to minimize the number of flu patients in the society? Quarantine or isolation of the patient or the potential patient is the key to preventing the spread of swine flu in society. And we will talk more about quarantine or isolation in the next discussion.